And moving on now, India's first indigenous aircraft carrier completes its first sea trials and is docked at the Cochin Ship Yard. The 262 meters long and 62 meters wide carrier will continue to execute sea trials to support all equipment and systems before it is handed over to the Indian Navy next year. Just ahead of Independence Day, Times Network gets on board the aircraft carrier that has over 76% indigenous components, hence becoming a shining example of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Take a look.
This aircraft carrier has not just been designed in India, but over 76% is indigenous. So it is a huge step forward to Atmanirbhar Bharat. We have more than 50 public and private sector OEMs who have participated. The capability of Cochin Ship Yard to build such a large warship has been conclusively proved. We have also ensured that this sea trial sets the tone for the future trials of the ship.
In fact, let's also take a look at INS Vikrant, which stands 59 meters with 14 decks, including 5 decks in the superstructure. With over 2,300 compartments, the ship is designed for a crew of 1,700. When it is sailing, it can achieve a top speed of 28 knots and a cruising speed of 18 knots. Times Network visited INS Vikrant's control room, that is the focal point of the ship. Take a look at how the control room functions.
We are in the control room. It's called the ship's control center, and this is one of the most important, if not the most important compartment in the ship. This is the focal point or the nerve center in the entire ship, wherein what we do is we are able to monitor as well as control all the machinery, the propulsion machinery, the power generation, the distribution, the air conditioning of the ship, the refrigeration, the major firefighting in the ship. Everything can be monitored and can be controlled from this place. Like you can see, we have a number of multifunction consoles, and each multifunction console is being manned by a watchkeeper who has a set task and a set machinery that he requires to monitor and control. And here you can see here is the post of the engineer officer of the watch, who is in direct contact with the ship's command center, that is a bridge. So whatever orders are relayed by the bridge are then thereafter transmitted to different parts of the ship and different compartments of the ship from here, and then all the feedback that comes from there is once again transmitted to the bridge from this post. So this is a focal point. Anything and everything goes through here on board the ship.
Ship is primarily propelled by in 2 shafts. For a ship to go on sea, I need a propeller. So we have enough speed with us to take us close to a reasonable amount of speed so that our aircraft carrier operations can happen and flight operations can happen. We have adequate power available with us to light up half of Kochi. So that is the level of power we are looking at. The amount of water we generate should be able to cater for at least half of the city in case of any water shortage. Right? So that is the scale which we are looking at. We have close to about 2,300 odd compartments, rooms in the thing. We carry close to 1,500 people. And the last sortie which we did, we carried 1,200 people, and we had about 6-7 ladies with us, all technicians and engineers who were working. So the scales are high, and I see an ocean of opportunity in front of us as far as Vikrant is concerned.
And now let's take a look at the deck of the ship that can accommodate up to 30 fighters and helicopters at a time. That includes MiG-29K fighter jets and Ka-31 helicopters as well. Speaking about the deck of the machinery, the commanding officer mentioned that the trials were successful despite the weather conditions and that they've been successful in achieving full power during the trials. Take a look.
The deck caters for operations of the fighters, primarily the MiGs and some more that may be tried and tested. The helicopters, primarily the Kamau-31, that is an airborne early warning helicopter. Along with the AEW helicopter, there shall also be a ASW platform, a platform for carrying out search and rescue operations. So the primary aim for this is that the AEW helicopter will get airborne, carry out a sweep of the entire area, and ensure there's a AEW bubble, a surveillance bubble that is maintained over the carrier and the fleet. And in case of any incoming threat, threat is passed on to the ship, after which there is a MiG or any other fighter that's going to be operating from the deck would be scrambled to take on the attack.
Vivek, at the outset, welcome on board the first indigenous aircraft carrier. As you can see, we are standing on the flight deck, and the expanse, you can see what kind of ship, complex ship it is. The trials, as you mentioned, for the 5 days were for undertaking checks of all the machinery and other auxiliaries which were due for trials. And we were able to put through the ship through the entire spectrum of operations for the machinery and achieved the full power. Also, all the other systems which were due for checking were put through the paces. And the trials were successful despite the trying conditions of weather outside.
The indigenous aircraft ship, with a high degree of automation for machinery operations, ship navigation and survivability, has been designed to accommodate an assortment of both fixed wing and rotary aircrafts. After conducting the successful 5-day voyage or sea trials that's been conducted in the Arabian Sea here in Kochi from August 5th onwards, all the parameters, including the hull and the power generation and distribution and all other parameters, has been in place. As far as the speed is concerned, it's to be noted that the high speed of this ship is 28 knots, and the cruising speed is 18 knots with an endurance of 7,500 nautical miles. As far as the ship is concerned, it is going to be a historic moment as far as INS Vikrant, this indigenous ship is concerned, indigenous aircraft is concerned, because right from the beginning, the whole materials, right from the design, the construction, and all other parameters are concerned, it is being built with indigenous technology. 75% of the technology is been indigenous technology, and hence this is going to be a truly milestone when the Cochin Ship Yard Limited is decommissioning the ship and will be handed over to the Indian Navy in 2022 before the month of August. As far as Indian Navy, the defense in the country is concerned, it is indeed a proud moment. We are right now at the hangar of the indigenous aircraft here in the Cochin Ship Yard Limited. Now this is the place where the aircraft is landed, and behind me, the space behind me, what you see is basically the official parkment lot of the aircraft once it's landed in the deck, and then it's been taken to this particular area. As of now, the maintenance work of this ship is going on. The final touch is still going on, and the work is almost completed. And in the coming days, you can see more and more sea trials that's been happening. And by 2022 August, this aircraft carrier, India's first indigenous aircraft carrier, will be handed over to the Indian Navy.